Brilliance Audio presents Hormonal, the hidden intelligence of hormones, how they drive desire, shape relationships, influence our choices, and make us wiser, by Martie Haselton. Performed by Tanya Eby. I have had the great fortune of finding a scientist's dream, a fascinating, socially relevant topic that was underexplored but rich in the empirical goods it delivered once I started doing research. At the time I began my work on women's hormone cycles, the broad consensus in science was that humans were vastly different from other species, and that hormone cycles didn't have much to do with patterns of human sexual behavior. Everyone thought that humans had been emancipated from hormonal control, whereas our non-human cousins were still seized by it. Part of that thinking was based on a genuine recognition that humans had unusual attributes, including this one. Humans will have sex at nearly any time, when at peak fertility near ovulation, but also at other times in the cycle, and even when conception is impossible, for example, when a woman is pregnant, newly postpartum, and breastfeeding, and in the post-reproductive years following menopause. This sort of extended sexuality runs in stark contrast to patterns in other mammals. I certainly recognized that women were different. We're not automatons who experience an estrogen surge and then follow a behavioral urge, as in having sex or competing with a rival. But my training as an evolutionary theorist led me to consider that hormones might affect women too, guiding their sexual and social decisions. Hormones control reproduction, the powerful engine of natural selection. It therefore seemed astonishingly unlikely that hormones would not guide our behavior in some way. The first studies from my lab found that women at peak fertility seemed to place a premium on sexiness in male partners. They also felt more attractive and wanted to go out to clubs and parties where they might meet men. They even showed up at the lab wearing dressier and sometimes more revealing clothing. It appeared that ovulation might be triggering mate shopping. Although I initially viewed this research as a side project, these findings were too tantalizing in their implications for me to pass up. I had to pursue them further. What other under-the-radar secrets of female desire might I discover if I kept looking? And so I did, with the help of dozens of students and many cherished colleagues. I am writing this book to share the story of our fascinating findings. It turns out that we are hormonally intelligent. Our hormones affect everything from our mating desires, chapters 2 and 4, to our competitive urges, chapter 5, our physical and behavioral changes during pregnancy and new motherhood, chapter 7, and our next chapter, menopause, with its potential for liberating new experiences beyond reproduction, chapter 7. I am also writing this book as a call to action for more information on our female brains and bodies. In spite of all that we do know, research was stunted for decades by the notion that men could be considered the default sex for biomedical information. If it worked for men, why wouldn't it work for women too? Women, the thinking went, were just too messy with all those hormone cycles. Why bother?